Saxon Algebra 1, lesson 120. Look, students, there it goes. Last lesson of the year. I'm so excited. This is a wonky and fun little lesson. It's from the world of statistics. It's called Box and Whisker Plots. Yes, you read that correctly. I did not go crazy. This is you could call it a graph or a diagram that's used to organize data that gives us a really strong visual picture of how the data is arranged. In this first problem, what we're given to arrange, I'm just going to show you in the book for a second and then I'll get it out of the way. Shown are the salaries of 12 mathematics textbook editors in thousands of dollars. So that's really funny. The textbook editors made a problem about textbook editors' salaries. So they're getting all meta on us. And the other thing that's funny now is that this book was written long enough ago that these are like tiny little numbers, right? Look at 25,000, 23,000. This is not very much money in 2021 dollars. So that's kind of cute. So what we're going to do is we're going to organize these salaries in a way so that we can glance at them and get some insights. So the very first, and it says, shown are the salaries, construct a box and whisker plot of the data. The very first step is to put these numbers in order from least to greatest. All right, so that is always the number one thing to do. I'm going to write steps right here. So step 1, organize from least to greatest. If we were together, we would work on that together. But you know what? I'm just going to give it to you because I don't want to waste a bunch of time. I'm pretending like we're doing it cooperatively. 8, 19, 21, 23, 24, 25. Oh, I'm going to run out of space, which is super, super sad. 28, 29, 31, 33. Okay, you finish copying. I'll count and make sure I did it right. Okay. You should have 12 numbers when you're done. You can put commas between them if you want. I like to just leave a gap so I don't have all those little squiggles in my way. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to find the median of the data set. What's the median again? Oh yeah, it's the middle value, right? So we go, okay, there's 12 of these, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then counting this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know, and again, this is an even numbered data set. There are 12 items, so there isn't going to be one item that's right in the middle, but there are 2 that are tied for the middle, right? And the way we find the median in a situation like this is we, for even numbered data set, we take an average. So in our case, because we have an even numbered data set, there are 12 items, we can tell, but just by looking at it, that the median is going to be 26. You just finished writing this. So because we have an even numbered data set, we take an average of the 2 that are closest to the middle. 25 plus 27 is going to be what? 52. Then we divide it by 2 and we get 26. Make sense? So there is our median at 26. We're just making notes on our list. We haven't started to draw the thing yet. Okay, then We're now going to divide this data set into the first half and the second half using the median as the dividing point, right? So there's 6 here and there's 6 there. So now we're going to go to just the first half of our data set. There's 6 items. It's even numbered again. So we have to find the middle will be right there, right? And so we take the average of those two, 21 and 23. Well, that's 44. Divided by 2 is 22. Okay? That makes sense. And then we do the same thing. We find the median of the second half. And this is annoying because it's spread out onto 2 lines. But here are the second 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. So we know that the median of the second half is going to be in between, what, 3 and 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's halfway in between. And look, John gave us, again, some really nice numbers. 29 and 31, we add them together. That is 60. Divided by 2, that's 30, and we go, yeah, that makes sense, right? Halfway in between 29 and 31. Okay, I'm going to put squares around these just so that the numbers stick out as opposed to all these other numbers, all right? So remember, we're taking the average. If, just to remind you, if it's an odd numbered data set, we take the middle value. Right? If you have an odd number of items, there will be one that's clearly in the middle. That's the easier section, or the easier situation. We got the hard one because we had the odd numbers. Okay, so the median of the first half we said was 22, and the median of the second half we said was 26. Now we're ready to start drawing. So what we do is we put the number line underneath, and the other thing that we want to do is find the range. Right? And the range, remember, is just I guess we don't really need the range. We need the high and low points. Let me change that. The range is the difference. We want the, no, I'm changing my mind. We're going to graph the least and the greatest values plus the numbers we found in steps 2 and 3. All right, so I'm going to make my line a little lower because I don't want to overlap. So ignore this line. All right, so let's put in our lowest number first, 18. And I can see now, let's do like 20. Our highest number is 35. So let's do like 20, 30, 40. Yeah, that'll work out fine. So this is 20, and this is 30, and this is 40. We don't have to put every single number in. We're just going to kind of eyeball things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the halfway marks. And we'll call that 45, and we'll call this 15, right? That kind of lets us eyeball. So we're going to graph our least value. 18 is right here. And I'm drawing my picture up above the number line. I'm not putting it on the number line, but up above. Our greatest value is 35, right there. Okay? Then, so I graphed the least and the greatest values, check and check. Then we do the numbers that we found in 2 and 3. The median is 26, so I'm going to graph that one. That'll be right here. And then 22, which will be about here. And then 26. Wait, that's not right. Oh, 30. I wrote that down wrong, didn't I? Have you been going crazy waiting for me to find it? The second half median is 30. Now we're ready to draw the box and whiskers. Are you ready? We go to the very middle point. We draw a line like that. Then we go to these, the next 2 points out. And we do that. And then We do that. Now we can label this. I'll write them up above. This is our least value. This is our greatest value. This is our median. And then instead of calling this point the median of the median, we call it the first quartile because it's 1/4 of the way through the data, right? This is 1/2. So half of 1/2 is 1/4. And then this data point, we call that the third quartile. Nifty, right? There's the box and there's the whiskers. Oh my gosh. Depending on how close or spread out your data is, it will give a different shape to this. Our segments are all reasonably similar in size. That tells us something about our data too, all right? So this is a great way to glance at the summary of a data set and go, okay, well, this is spread pretty evenly from 18 to, and we can fill in some more of these numbers. I don't like to make it get too crowded. This is 30, we got that one filled in. This one was 26, right? And then this one is 22. So we can just make sure we get those numbers in here so that when we glance at this, we can readily find the values. Oh, that's kind of fun, right? Pretty easy. You're just finding the median and then the median of the first half and the median of the second half. That's the only calculation. Okay, so we graph all of that. And then the last step, 5, is draw the box and the whiskers. And the 3 down lines go from the median, first quarter, third quarter, and then we connect. Okay? Let's do one more. This one actually, I think, is different in that we don't have to draw the picture, we have to answer questions about it. The box and whisker plot shown shows the scores made on the final exam by 150 students. Find the range, median, mode, and mean of the scores. And that's kind of a trick question. And then describe the distribution of the scores. Okay, so let's look at the picture. It's this picture down here. Okay, so I'm going to copy this into my book, but I just want you to see how there's the scale here. We don't really need this whole part of the number line, do we? Because it's really focused on the second half. So I'm going to start at 50 when I copy this into my book, and I'm going to be careful as I pull these numbers so that I get a pretty clear reading. All right, so I can't do that. I can't do that with you. I have to do that for you because you can't talk to me. It's so sad. All right. So I'm just drawing the second half of that number line, the part that I need. I'm going to start at 50, and then I need to go up to 100. So 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And now I'm copying it, but I'm going to use the same reference points that I did before. I'm going to start with the lowest number, which seems to be at 55, so I'll write that in. And then the highest number seems to be at 100. All right, now I'm going to go to the median, which I know is, there's the lowest and the highest, and the median I know is the one in the middle. That's right at 80. So I'll put a dot there. And then I'll find my first quadrant and first quartile and second quartile. First quartile looks like 74. Yeah, it's not quite 75, so I'm gonna guess it's that. And then the third quartile is 95, so it's halfway. It's right there. I'm gonna write 95. Okay, remember to draw the box. You go to the median and the first and the third, and you connect those 3 lines. Boom and boom. Okay, now we've got the picture in the book and we're ready to calculate. So we're supposed to find first the range. Okay, The range is the highest, the greatest point, minus the least point. It's 100 minus 55, and that is 45. Correct. The median, okay, we know that the median is what's at the middle of the box, right? So the median is 80. We can just glance at it. That's right. On the mode, remember, is the most popular one. We don't see any individual scores here. All we're seeing is high, well, I guess that, but we don't know if that's one person got a 55 or 3 people got a 55. We know someone got a 55, but there's no way that we can make any judgments about how many people got each of these scores. So this one is cannot be determined. And again, for the mean, again, to find the mean, you add up all the individual scores and then divide by the total. We don't know the individual scores. We just know this picture that tells us about the least, the greatest, first quartile, median, third quartile. So this one also cannot be determined. And then the last part, and this is hard to write out, but we're supposed to describe the distribution of the scores. So what we see is that 1/4 of the scores fell here, 1/4 there, 1/4 here, 1/4 there, because this is first quartile, median, third quartile. Remember, the median is kind of like the second quartile. And if you wanted to, you could sort of think of this as the 0 quartile, and this is the 4th quartile. Okay, that kind of helps me feel like it's logical. We can't say too much. We can see that these scores are kind of spread out, and then there's a tight, and then there's a little more spread out, and then there's a tight. And that would be interesting to us. We might, if we wanted to find out more about these scores, we might want to look at what was going on in these two tighter pockets, or maybe we'd be more interested in the spread out. A lot of times with statistics, one piece of information alone, or one diagram alone, one data set alone, doesn't tell you anything. It's when you're comparing multiple data sets. So if these were the scores, this was the score of a final exam by 150 kids, if we compared it to last year's test maybe, or the next 150 kids, or 150 kids at a different school, comparing the data sets is helpful. But that answers the questions. All you need to say is that 1/4 fall here, 1/4 fall there, 1/4 fall there, 1/4 fall there. Yay, that's the lowest, that's the highest. Done. And you know what that means? We have reached the end of Algebra 1. Congratulations, gentlemen. This was a challenging year. We had a lot of weird stuff going on, but we persevered. We made it through to the end. And cheers to next year feeling a little bit different than this weird business. All right, all you have to do now is just study for a final. No big deal at all. All right, goodbye.